New scenery. I'm currently at my school in the student lounge, but I feel like I probably shouldn't be recording in here, but like I'm doing it anyways because I have free will, and free will can get you anywhere unless you're not in a place that has free will. Anyways, I'm just rambling. But recently I've been like using Reels, and you guys already know this, like I'm addicted to Reels. But the thing with Reels is that like I don't think they have an algorithm, honestly. Like I don't think Meta or like Facebook or whatever the fuck has figured out how like to get like a good algorithm going, because compared to TikTok, I think Reels, they just don't care. Like they know you like cat videos, they know you like art videos, they know you like this and that, but like they do not care. They're like, okay, like I know you like this, but like I'm gonna give you this instead. Like I'm gonna give you what you despise the most. I'm gonna give you, if you're like a conservative, you're on Reels, they're gonna give you like the gayest shit ever. Like you're gonna get like gay porn on your fucking main, and you'll be like, what the fuck, this is not what I'm looking for. And then if you're like a fucking liberal or something, look like a liberal cuck or something, and you get all these like Republican like redneck posts, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong? And anyways, and it's like, and I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know. They need to figure it out, because I know they have enough money. Like, it's not an issue of money, I don't think, but I think it's down to them just not caring, or like, you know, cracking the code. Like they have like so many, like a lot of resources to be able to like crack it. They can literally just like copy and paste what TikTok has, but instead they just have an algorithm that sucks fucking donkey balls. And so that's where I end up on, you know, mom Instagram, or like mom Reels. And you guys probably already know this, but the epidemic of like boy moms, and like it even like expands outside of like humans. It like goes to like animals as well. Like I've seen a lot of like TikToks or like Instagram Reels about like, so I'm putting this in just so it looks like I'm like, you know, in a Zoom meeting, but like I'm not. But anyways, I've seen a lot of like, whatchamacallit, like Reels about like, you know, like cat owners that are like, oh, like perks of being a boy cat mom, or like, oh, like I love being a boy cat mom and this and that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I know that like a lot of it is like ironic rage bait or whatever the fuck. And like, it's like, I mean, sometimes it's funny. It's like, oh, a funny little orange boy cat or whatever the fuck. I don't really give a rat's ass. But like, I don't know if like the mom talks are, or like if I say mom talk, it's just Reels, but like I don't know if these mom videos are like serious, because I do get like a decent amount of them, because you know Instagram knows that I love children, right? I love the fuck out of children. I want children. It's like, come on, be so fucking free. Like, you know, I don't want fucking children, where you're over here giving me like this dumb fucking parenting advice. Like, who the fuck do you think I am? Anyways, but they're recommending me these like mom videos, and just like, oh, like I'm the first love my son will ever have, and he's going to be my last love, or some shit like that. And it's like the cringiest fucking thing. And I'm just like, if you want to fuck your son, just say you want to fuck your son, but like don't come on the internet and pretend like you're like this like godsend of a mother because you love your son so much. Like if you want to have an incestuous relationship with your son, then do it, but like don't come onto this like platform and pretend that you are such a saint, like such a good giving mom, when in fact you want to fuck your son. Like you want, I mean, it's not me saying this, but like the social context of it all is like, bro, like if you want to fuck your mom, like if you want to fuck your son or your daughter, whatever the fuck, like why are you making that an us issue? Like you come on here and be like, oh, like I can't believe, like I hope like his next girlfriend like knows that like I set a high standard or some shit like that, or like I hope his next girlfriend is as good as me, or like this and that. And I'm just like, you guys are freaks. Like you guys are honest to God fucking freaks, and you probably should not be having children, but you do have children because, like I said, people have free will, and for some unknown reason these freaks are able to reproduce. And I'm just like, I feel like parents should like go through therapy before like they should have like a screening or like therapy before they have children, because what the fuck is going on with these boy moms, right? Because I don't think I've ever seen anything about like a daddy's girl, or like a dad, a boy mom, a girl dad. Like a girl dad. That sounds like a band, like a girl dad. That's kind of silly. But like I've never seen anything about like, well, I have seen a few things about like, oh, if you touch my daughter, I'll shoot you, or like, oh, like no man can compare it to like the love that my father, or like the father can give, or some dumb shit like that. Like I've seen that, but like not as frequent as like the mom talks, of like where they're like talking about like this and that, you know. And it's just crazy to me. It's so strange to me how like you can come on the internet and just fully confess that you want to like have an incestuous relationship with your son. It's not like they're like saying that, oh, I want to fuck my son, but like context clues though, like context clues. Like we have all been in school, we've all been through like literature classes, and we've all been through like reading classes, and we understand how to read between the lines. And when you say dumb shit like that, like, oh, like I want to fuck my son, like no, not I want to fuck my son, but like my son is my only love, like I love my boy son so much, like I love him. And it's just like, I get that you can like, okay, here's the thing, right? As a parent, you should love your children, and you should be able to like take care of them, support them, and whatever the fuck, right? Like there's something called like parental love. I don't know if you guys know what that is, because nowadays the boundaries seem a little bit skewed, but there's a thing called parental love, and it's not to the point where you're like, oh, like I love my son so much, like I don't know what I can do without him, like this and that. Like it's like, that is an obsession, right? Like if you are thinking about your son in a way where I can't live without him, like he's the best thing in my life and this and that, and like I don't want to sit here because I'm not a parent or whatever the fuck, but like I don't want to, like if I were to meet, like, okay, theoretical situation, right? If I were to be in a relationship with a male and he is a quote unquote like like mommy's boy, and he was like a mommy's boy, and then but like for me it's like I appreciate a guy that like respects his mother and takes care of his mother and like loves his mother, right? Like that's something that like I think that like is a baseline for any dude. Like if the guy does not love his mother, and if the mother is like a good mother, you know, like if a mother is like, you know, doing the thing that she has to do, and like he loves her, it's like, wow, like that's literally like the bare minimum, like you love your mom, wow. But if like the mom's like abusive or whatever the fuck, or like outside of their life, then it's whatever the fuck. But like in like this situation, like the mom is like a decent mom and he loves his mom, and that's something I can respect and I can acknowledge that, like, wow, like he loves his mom. That means he has been raised correctly, and he, you know, obviously has his boundary where he respects his mom, but he also loves his mom and like understands that she has provided a lot for him and has done a lot for him. And so I can understand that. But when it becomes to the point where the mom is like controlling every single move that he does, like oh you can't hang out with that girl because she's so slutty, or like you can't hang out with that girl because, you know, she does this and that, or like you can't wear this, you can't do that and this and that. And it's like, for me, from the culture that I come from and from my general understanding of like, you know, like parental whatever the fuckness, I just don't think that I would ever personally be interested in a man that like has such a controlling mother to the point where like the mother sees him as property, like sees him as like hers. Like it's the same concept as when like a dad gives away their daughter at a wedding. I think that personally for me, okay, if you guys think it's like, oh my God, like so touching, whatever the fuck. But for me, I find it kind of archaic that like a father has to give away the daughter. I think it's very archaic and very kind of like not that bueno in my opinion. And so for me, I think that it's like the same concept of like a mom being so overprotective and so just controlling of their son to the point where they see their son as property almost. Like you cannot have my son because he is mine. That is not bueno. That is not bueno in my opinion. And if you guys don't see it the same, then, you know, that's your opinion. I don't have anything against like mothers loving their son, okay? Because I think that's a good thing. Like nowadays, like, I'm not gonna diss on any parent that like loves her whatever the fuck, right? But like, I just don't understand like the ongoing trend of like these moms just like wanting to like just desiring their son, wanting to like own their son and have them to themselves. It just seems so, like I said, incestuous, weird, and just strange to me. Like you can love your son without going like passing the boundary of like wanting him as like a significant other, okay? Because for me, my parents, we are not friends, okay? Because I understand that there's like a boundary, right? Like I don't want to be friends with my parents because they're my parents. I don't need to tell them everything, and I don't feel the need to and they don't feel the need to like control what I do and stuff like that. And so we have this like mutual respect of like, oh, like I can come to you when I need something and stuff like that. But like, for me personally, I have never, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just so strange to me. It's just so strange. But I think it might also be like a cultural thing, which I just, every time I see a TikTok like that, I'm like, oh my God, we're doomed. I'm like, the future generation of like just children is just doomed overall, but like the parenting is definitely a lot more, I feel like a lot more kind of soft parenting, and to the point where it's just like, are you really a parent, or are you just like raising a kid just because you want like a friend? I mean, that's not a question for me to ask because I don't know, I'm never gonna have children, but at the same time, it's like, I am worried about like I mean, I'm worried about the children. Like, we care about children in this universe, okay? We care about children, and obviously I care about like the people that are coming into our world, and I care about like what they have to deal with, because right now I just don't see a good future for them because of the like just the soft parenting that's happening. I'm not saying to beat your fucking kids, because that's fucking dumb, okay? Don't beat your fucking kids, but like just understand that like kids need guidance. Like they need guidance, they need to know what's right and wrong, and they're not going to be born with innate like understanding that like, oh wow, like this is wrong, this is right, and stuff like that. Like you have to be the one to teach them. And if you teach them that like, oh, like this level of control is normal, they're gonna continue that like process. They're gonna be like, oh wow, like my mom like used to control everything I do, and she would like tell me not what to do, and she told me not to hang out with these people and this and that, and so I'm gonna do that with my kids. Or like, well, it depends, right? It depends on how the kid is raised, and if they like grow up to the point where they don't really question what their parents like really question the way their parent like raises them, then they're gonna follow that mindset of like, oh, like this is what my parents did for me, I turned out fine, so I'm gonna parent my kids the same way. But like if you know the kid grows up and it's like, wow, like I'm fucked up because of the way my mom controlled me, or like the way my parents controlled me, or the way my mom like the way my mom treated me, basically, like to the point where like I just was her friend instead of having like an adult, and that like fucks them up in the future, right? And so they're going to be, and I hope this is the way it goes, like they realize that that's not something that's normal and not something that should be continued within the future, and so they try to make a change. But from what I'm hearing, a lot of millennial parents are always like, oh, like I don't want to be the same way that my parents were, I don't want to be like avoidant, I don't want to like go to violence and stuff like that, which I can appreciate, but at the same time there's a boundary, right? There's a boundary of like, that is your fucking kid, like you have to be really cautious of that boundary, because it crosses into the boundary where it's like is that your kid or is that your fucking boyfriend? Is that your kid or is that your boyfriend? Like that is just so strange for me to say, but like nowadays that's what it feels like, doesn't it? It feels like, especially with like moms and stuff, they feel like this like protective need. It's like, it's not even protective, I don't even know what it is. It's not romantical. Let me just say, it's not romantical, but it's like every time I think about this concept, it always reminds me of like, man, Freud, he needs to shut the fuck up, but he was cooking. Okay, he was cooking a little bit, and he was like, and like it just disgusts me to my core, and I just hope that nobody like has to like deal with that. But like, I don't know, it's like I don't even know what to say about it, because it just baffles me, like that phenomenon of like wanting, of like, I don't even know like how to describe the word. It's just like boy moms just having this like obsession with a boy, like obsession with having a boy, an obsession with like having that boy life, an obsession with like taking care of their boys, like to the point where it's like they're coddling them, and like to the point where it's almost like they're like taking care of a boyfriend, you know, taking care of a husband. And it's like, I just don't know like where, like how that will affect the future generation, because I don't think I've ever, well, I'm not gonna like generalize it and say like, oh, like past parents or like parents in the past were not like that, but like I wonder what that's going to be like for someone that grows up with so much given to them without having to like fight for it, and they don't like receive like consequences for their actions and stuff like that. Like I wonder what that's going to create. Like, is that going to create like a new generation of narcissistic people? Is that going to create like a new generation of like fucking psychopaths? Like who knows? But like I'm not going to sit here and generalize and be like, oh my god, like we're raising the next generation of fucking mass murderers and shit like that. Like, that's stupid. That's dumb. Okay, I'm not going to say that because that's irrational. But like at the same time, it's like you have to like question of like, how does that affect like the kid in the long run? You know, like it's obviously not going to be great if the kid like grows up and thinks that like, oh, like if I like beat up a homeless person and there's nothing there's nothing accompanying me because I'm invincible and my mom will always like bail me out wherever the fuck, right? And like it's good to have your mom on your side, your parents on your side when you need them, but at the same time you have to understand that like mommy's not always going to be there. Okay, mommy's not always going to be there, and like you're going to have to fend for yourself. And it's just, I don't know. I think about that a lot. Not a lot, but like more recently since I've been getting like these like boy TikToks, and it's just so strange to me because, you know, I don't want to be like on my fucking like soapbox, be like, oh, women are treated like shit, but like I have had like a lot of my friends are like older sisters, and they have had to take on so fucking much, and like I just want to see like girls, like just younger girls and just girls in general be appreciated more within our space, because it just feels like they just don't get enough like love. You know, the love that they give it's not the love they receive. And that's why I always like try to baby my older like friend, like not my older friends, but my friends who are older sisters. Like I let them like be children around me, and just let them like really be loose and goosey, because it's like they've grown up with like this responsibility when it didn't need to be a responsibility, because they didn't have the kid. That wasn't their choice, but they were forced this responsibility upon them, which is really like I don't know, just really like sad. Like every time I'm like in my bed and I just think about like life and stuff, I think I like always kind of revert back to my friends, and I'm like, wow, like my friends have had to deal with so much, and it just makes me sad, because I want my friends to be happy, obviously, but it's like you can tell that the weight of responsibility has really kind of like shifted them into thinking that they're not worth being loved, or like worth having like this whatever the fuck, right? And so I think that like loving, just be good parents to like all of your children, regardless of the gender. Like even the concept of like gender reveals piss me the fuck off, because it's like, what the fuck is wrong with, like, I don't know, like the amount of times I see parents get mad at the fact that their kid is not the gender they want or whatever the fuck. It's like, and that's why I advocate. I'm sitting here right now advocating for parents to go to like therapy and get their like mental health checked out before having children. I'm not going to sit here and say that mentally ill people should not have children, but I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying, man. As a parent, you should make sure your mental state or whatever the fuck is in order before bringing kids into this world and like creating another like, you know, duplicate of you. Because as someone with a mental illness as well, it's like I don't really want my kid to grow up the way I did, you know, a like theoretical kid, you know. But like anyone who has dealt with a mental illness, they understand that this is not something that you want another person to suffer with. So in order to not pass on these like traits, you have to be able to like understand that this is not a good, you know, like trait or habit or whatever the fuck, and like relearn that, and like relearn how you structure the way you think and stuff, you know. And in order to do that, you have to go through therapy. Like you just have to go through therapy and work out your issues before like, you know, influencing others. And like I said, I mean, like some people just are not able to have, wait, where am I going with that? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a really strange world right now, and it makes me just concerned about the way boy moms especially, are treating their like kids. I wonder if you guys have like the same concerns as me. I don't know. I'd be curious to learn if like, because like in a lot of cultures as well, like boys are seen as like the better sex, and I'm not gonna say it's right. I'm not gonna say it's not right. Let me just say that it's not right, but like it is how it is, and like it is how it is, but there can also be change, you know. Like it's not just it is how it is and just let it be. It is how it is, but there is also a potential future for change, and you can be that change if you want to be. I mean, I think guys like it that way because they get to be babied, but you know, I think it all just comes down to like, because I don't know, like for me, I was told this in like secrecy, because I don't think I was supposed to know this, but like my cousins told me that like I was like that my parents wanted a boy, and like when they got the boy, they weren't like super excited about it, which I was like, okay, like it is what it is.